In this video, we're going to be creating the individual article page for each one of the posts in our blog. But before we do that, what I want to do is update the styling for the blog list on the home page. So to do that, open up your project in RapidWeaver, go to the home page and select the blog list stack, and make sure that you have the stack settings open here. So first of all, I want to change the margin to be 4 rems, and then the padding I want 0 on the top, 0 on the right, 2 on the bottom and 0 on the left. Next I'm going to change the border size on the bottom to be 2 pixels. Then what I'm going to do is change the date styling, so select the date stack, set the alignment to left and set the style to swatch 6. If we preview that with Command P on the keyboard, we'll see that that's looking a little bit nicer. We have a divider and we can see which image belongs to which post. So let's publish those changes up to the server. And if we refresh rapidweaverblog.com, we should see that those styles have been applied, and they have, and that's looking a little bit better. Okay, next what I want to do is create the individual article page for each one of these posts. So again, go back to RapidWeaver, and we're going to add a new stacks page, and we're going to call this article. And then straight away I'm going to change the folder name to be article and change the file name to be index.php. Now one thing to note here is that the folder name you give this page is going to be used in the URL for each blog post. So in our case, the URL for each post is going to be rapidweaverblog.com/article and then the post permalink. If you want something different, such as post, you should enter that here. And if you did put post in here, your URL for each post would be rapidweaverblog.com/post and then the post permalink. Okay, once you've got that set up, we can start designing the article page. And to do that, we firstly need to add the site styles partial. Then we're going to use a total CMS content stack. And the one we're going to use is the blog post stack here. So drag and drop that into your page. And if you scroll down, you'll see that we need to add the CMS Core Stack to this page for this to work. Now what we could do is just drag and drop the CMS Core Stack in here, and you'll see that the warning disappears, but we would be duplicating ourselves because we need to add the license to this CMS Core Stack, but we've already done that on the home page. So what we should do is go back to the home page and cut the CMS Core Stack from the page with Command X, and we're going to add it to the site styles partial. So double click your site styles partial, and we're going to paste it with Command V into here. And we can see that that is working correctly, and we've added our CMS license here. Okay, if we go back and then we go to the article page, you'll see the CMS Core Stack is now in the site styles partial, and we've shared that across the 2 pages. This means that our blog post stack is now going to work as expected. So next up, open up the stack settings in the page inspector, and what we need to do first of all is change the CMS ID to be articles. And this is obviously the ID that we've been using throughout this course, and you need to make sure that that is set correctly and it matches up with the ID that you've used previously. Next, we're also going to enter a preview post permalink. Now this is a really good feature of Total CMS, and what it does is it allows us to provide a live post permalink that will be used to preview the content locally. So let me show you how that works. Let's go to Safari, and we're going to use the quick and easy midweek dinners. Now if you hover over the title, you'll see in the bottom left hand side of the Safari window, at the end of the URL there is the post permalink. So quick-and so on. That is the post permalink. So what I'm going to do is copy this link, go back to RapidWeaver, and I'm going to paste it into the preview post area here. Then I'm just going to delete the domain name. So what we're left with here is a live post permalink. And what Total CMS will do is, as I said, it will pull in the data for that post and allow us to preview this page locally before we have to publish it up to the live server. Okay, we're not going to change any other settings just yet, but what I am going to do is add the post content. So click the blue plus button here and you'll be presented with all of the data that you can add for a blog post. And as I said, in this case, we're going to add the blog post content. That will be added in below the blog post title. Now if we go and preview this in Safari, the first time you preview this article page locally, you will be shown this Save Blog Post URL modal. And what we need to do is tell Total CMS on the server the URL for each individual article. So as you can see, currently the server setting, we haven't set anything yet. And that is, as I say, because this is the first time that we've previewed this locally. And what we need to do is submit the new project setting up to the server. So all you need to do is press submit here, and that will tell Total CMS that this is going to be the URL template for each individual post. So once that's saved, it will disappear and we're ready to move on. And as you can see here, we have the Quick and Easy Midweek Dinners title and post content, and that is being pulled down from the live site here. And that's because we entered the Quick and Easy Midweek Dinners permalink into the stack settings. Okay, so once you've got that working, we can start to look at designing the individual article page. So we'll go back to RapidWeaver, and what we're going to do is use some foundation stacks. So to start with, we're going to use a 2-column foundation stack, and you're going to drop that inside of the blog post stack here. And then we're going to drop the blog post title into the right hand side and the blog post content below that. Then we're going to select the 2-column foundation stack and change the grid settings. So on the tablet sizing, we're going to set column 1 to be 2 columns wide, and we're going to set column 2 to be 10. And as you can see, that gives our blog post content a lot more space than the left hand column here. Next, we're going to add the blog post author, and we're going to drop that into the left hand column there. Then finally, we're going to add the blog post date and drop that in below the author. Now if we go back to Safari and preview this, you can see we're now starting to build up the design for this article page. And hopefully again you're starting to see the flexibility of using Foundation and Total CMS. We can design our article pages in any way that we like. So we can move things around, add them, change the column layouts and so on. You have complete control over everything on the page. You're not limited to a theme design or anything like that. Anyway, having said that, what we're going to do is finish up this page by changing the design a little bit more and adding a couple more blog post details to the design. So go back to RapidWeaver again, and what I want to add is the blog post gallery. So choose that stack there and drop that in below the blog post content. Now the gallery is the images that we uploaded for each individual post. So those will be added in a nice gallery below the content here. Later on in the course, we'll look at how you can add images and media inside of the blog post content. But for now, we're just going to have the blog post gallery below the main content area. Then what I want to do is add a divider below the gallery. And then I'm going to add a 2-column foundation stack below the divider. Then we're going to add the blog post categories and drop that into the left hand side. And then we're going to add the blog post stacks and drop that into the right hand side. And then finally we're going to change the 2-column foundation max width settings to be a custom max width of 780 pixels. And that's just to match the home page width as well. So if we go to the home page and choose the 1-column foundation, you'll see we have a max width of 780. So that's to keep the content width consistent throughout the site. Okay, let's go to Safari and preview that. And there you can see we're looking pretty good. We've got our title, the main post content, and we've also got a really nice gallery here. So we get the thumbnails. If we click on one of those, we get a nice pop-up gallery and we can scroll through them like so. Below that we have our categories that we've set and tags as well. Now, if you remember in the first video of this course when we previewed the design of our site, we had an author image at the top here, and we also had some comments below and a featured banner and things like that. We are going to be adding those later in the course, but in this video we're only focusing on setting up this individual article page. So keep following along, and later on I'll show you a couple of tricks of how you can add a nice author image up here and also the comments below here in the featured banner. However, for now all we're going to do is add a little bit of padding at the top and bottom of this post. So to do that, go back to RapidWeaver, make sure you've got the 2-column foundation stack selected, and set the row padding on the top and the bottom to be 5 rems. We preview that, you'll see that's now nicely padded down. Okay, so the final thing I want to do in this lesson before we publish this to the live server is clean up our menu. Right now we have home, article, articles and article. Now obviously these two final menu items are the admin areas for our site. So when we click on articles, if you remember, we get the list of the articles we've created, and we can create new articles. Obviously we don't want these displayed in the main menu for our site. So what I'm going to do is go back to RapidWeaver, and just for now in the page inspector general settings I'm going to uncheck the show in navigation option for both of those pages. Later on in the course we're going to look at how we create a custom admin menu, but for now, as I say, we'll just hide those from the navigation. What we also want to do is actually hide the article page as well, because on the live site we don't want that to be a menu item because the page will be empty. What Total CMS does is use this page to dynamically create a custom blog page for each individual post. We don't want this to be linked to individually, or we don't want this to be linked to via the navigation. So again, uncheck the show in navigation option there, and then what I'm going to do is change the homepage title to be articles. And so if we then go and preview that in the browser, you'll see that the articles page is the only one remaining, and that is essentially the home page for the site, and that's listing out all of our posts. Okay, so once you've got to this stage, what we can do is go and publish these changes up to the live server. Once that's done, we can go to our rapidweaverblog.com website and refresh, and you'll see we only have the articles page. And now when we hover over one of our blog posts or one of our articles, you'll see in the bottom left hand corner the URL for this post has been updated to rapidweaverblog.com/article, and then a query string of permalink equals quick and easy midweek dinners. Now we're going to look at how we can clean this up and give ourselves some pretty URLs, but that won't be in this video. We'll be covering that in a pretty URLs video later on in the course. For now, just click on one of the titles and you'll be taken to that individual article page where the content for that post is displayed. So we can go and preview another post or view another post. So we've got the healthy breakfast one, and you'll see that the images have been added here. Okay, that will do it for this video. As I said, in the following videos we're going to look at adding our custom author avatar, and we're going to be adding comments below the content and also a related post banner. But before we do that, in the next video we're going to actually add the banner area at the top of the page. So if you remember, in the first video we had that nice full page banner with the blurred background with the post title and summary in. So we're going to look at how we can do that, as I say, in the next video.